You're watching the TGM production. Hello, welcome to Children's Hour, the show where we discuss, talk about and review kids TV past, present and future from the UK and beyond. Today we're heading to the UK to speak about Big Lizard, a current CBeebies show available on the BBC iPlayer. Now, Big Lizard is brilliant. I think it's on the same playing field as Bluey, Hey Duggee, and obviously Big Lizard. Not in that particular order, any order you would like, but they're the three shows that I think, when you look at the landscape of children's TV of the CBeebies variety and you hear parents on podcasts such as Parenting Hell, which is a clue to who stars in Big Lizard, the references is Hey Duggee, Bluey, and it's slowly becoming Big Lizard. But I do think the particular podcast I'm talking about doesn't talk about it due to the fact that they don't want to sound they don't want to sound like they're saying that the thing they're in is the best thing they've ever seen, which in my opinion is in the top 10 greatest children's TV shows of the present day. Now, Big Lizard stars Lois Sefferton as Cosmo, as Josh Widdicombe as Dad, Dan Chambers as Big Lizard, and Amanda Gill as D.O.R.I.S. And so it's... How do I describe this show to make it not sound bonkers? Because the premise is bonkers. So it's about, right, in its original premise, so ignoring the Big Lizard for now, but its original premise is about a scientist who is called Dad, played by father and parenting podcaster Josh Widdicombe and comedian, but the joke there is that he's playing a character called Dad, and he is a dad. So the show is about a father and daughter. Josh Widdicombe plays Dad, the scientist, and his daughter, Cosima. When looking at the description of the show, the BBC and Google describe the show as, when Dad's lizard translator malfunctions, Cosima is carried away by a giant beetle. Cosima and Big Lizard realise they don't need to speak the same language to be best friends.
Hey, Big Lizard, wanna swap crystals? You can have this one. Are you sure? This one is really cool. Oh my gosh! Look, doesn't it look amazing on my suit? Like a medal. It's so pretty and so special. But if you don't want it... Cosmic. Hey, no fair! We swapped! It's not nice to snap!
Stop! How about you just share it?
I guess we... Hey!
Guys, that way's a dead end. Unless you plan on chasing each other to the very top of a volcano. Oh no.
Now let's talk about the all-important animation style. what makes every show successful, right? Not only is it the writing, not only is it the actors, not only is it the direction, not only is it what happens behind the scenes, but it's also the animation. CGI animation, stop motion animation, 2D animation, and I'm going to say 3D, but 3D animation might be the same as CGI, are all in hot contents to say what's the best type of animation. There's frequently ad hoc styles. Shaun the Sheep is stop motion, but there is ways to make CGI look like some people call claymation, but I'm going to call it stop motion, but claymation might be a better word. I think Big Lizard utilises that style really well, so you watch it and go, that, from certain shots, looks stop motion, but really, it's gorgeous CGI. So if you watch Boss Baby, let's give a really bad example of CGI, right? Boss Baby is 3D CGI, doesn't look entirely great, but if you compare that to Big Lizard, oh, Big Lizard is gorgeous. Alright, I'm going to demonstrate this. Let me just move this out of the way. So, imagine this. I'm just going to step to the side. You'll be able to hear my voice. Imagine that, what you're seeing now, is the rocket ship, right? So this, now let's utilise it. So this is the rocket ship, right? Right, and you will have seen this in the clip already. But this is just my interpretation of it. So this is a rocket ship. Yes, stunning, beautiful, magnificent, but this is a bit I love about CGI and I love about animation full stop, is you can then see behind it, right? So if you look in the background, if I remove the rocket ship out of the way, you look in the background and imagine you can see the massive mountains scouring the air. And it makes it look beautiful because it looks like it's the vast of I can see, and really it's probably numbers and dots and whatever, right? That's the inner workings of it, not what the animators are doing. I don't think the animators want to zero in there. And it's like vast, and it's gorgeous, right? It utilises this style to help so if it wasn't using this style, then I don't think it would have been the show it become, because the style, if you have a bouncing ball, it looks 10 times better, and I think Big Lizard himself utilises the animation style perfectly. If you had Big Lizard in a bluey 2D animation, I don't think Big Lizard would have worked as a character, because the way the character acts, the way the character feels, the way the character emotes is through this gorgeous animation style. Now, in every review and in every life, you got to say what you sort of not like about the product, not like about the program, about the thing. I'll hold my hands up and be honest. Yeah, I haven't got many negatives. Yes, I know I'm always talking about, oh, that's positive, oh, positive. I'm not too fan of saying negative things, but I think when you're reviewing a show, you've got to say what is wrong with. From my personal opinion, now, as we're establishing, I'm not the target audience necessarily, so I don't know. I haven't looked to the market research why this is the case, but I feel like episodes of children's TV now, including Big Lizard, are slightly too short. A minute longer would have been brilliant. 2 minutes longer, excellent. I just would love more of it, right? So my negativity of Big Lizard is it's too short. Now, there's probably a very valid and researched reason why it was the length it is, but I feel like it's too short. But then again, I like watching programs that are half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour. And if you watch American cartoon Steven Universe, that's 11 minutes, and that's too short for me. If I'm watching a short, or a Shaun the Sheep short, right, fair enough. But if I'm watching them that's got a narrative, pushing out the boat to like a minute extra or 2 minutes extra would just be perfect. The theme tune and the title sequence again is gorgeous. I mean, I personally prefer theme tunes that have got lyrics to them. So, I would have preferred lyrics in the theme tune. I think the theme tune's really nice, really gentle, works in the show. But if I had to improve anything about this show that isn't the main storylines and nothing, well, apart from extending it a minute to 2 minutes, nothing much else you can do because it is really good, is I would add lyrics to the theme tune. So something like, we're on a planet with Dada Cosmo. Oh, we're on a planet. Over there is Big Lizard. Something like that would be my guess and my opinion, if you like, opinion of what I think a Big Lizard lyrics to a theme tune would be. But that's again being nitpicky because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just saying, oh, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. Because even though I think that, there's got to be some negative. So if I'm rating it out of 10, which I don't like doing, but I do think sometimes you have to, I would give it a 9 out of 10 due to the fact that, A, the theme tune, I would have preferred it to have lyrics, and B, I think a minute or 2 minutes extra would be perfect, and lack of episodes, right? I know there's 52, right, or so, or thereabouts, but I need a second series, I need a third series, I need about 1,000, 3,000, right? 3 series. If you want to stop it at 3 series, but have, like, 52 in series 1, 60 in series 2, 75 in series 3, I don't know if that will come up to the 1,000 number I'm after, but, because I'm not going to attempt to do maths here, but I would want the show to be like like a Bluey situation where you don't really know what series you're on, you don't really know where you're at, and you don't know how long the show's been going on for because you're just watching episode after episode, and I would love that for Big Lizard. Now, if I had to give my favourite moments from Big Lizard, as a Doctor Who fan, I would say anything with where Mandip Gill's in it. As a Josh Whittaker fan, I would say anything with Josh Whittaker in it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say, I think in any moment Cosmo and Big Lizard are interacting, such as the clip we've seen, because I think passing the crystal or chase after crystal is something a child would do with a friend, even if it wasn't a lizard, right? If you remove the lizard, and Big Lizard's the nickname of a woman called Janice, who happens to be tall and has a dog that sort of looks like a lizard, and she's bigger than Cosmo, then that sort of scene would still work and still play well. So I think that it's representing the ideas of kids when they go on these adventures, right? And you know, fight like a rocket or something like that in a similar sort of way would happen. So it seems more believable, down to earth, more realistic, even though it's on an alien planet, even though the space travelers, and even though Big Lizard is a giant lizard, right? Even though there's those 3 factors at play, you still get the sense that it would still possibly happen on a snow day, probably, when you have like sledging, right? That's the main aspect I can think of. Now, what I want to round off this review with is to say that I personally would love a cameo in this. In Big Lizard, I would love to be in Big Lizard, but that's another story for another day because I am an actor. And so, if there's any roles going in Big Lizard, I would love it. But if you had to say why would you want to watch it, right? I would say if you are a fan of animation that has good values, that speaks to both kids and adults, and would work incredibly well on BBC One, or BBC Two, or even BBC Three this year, because obviously BBC Three are now airing more children's shows. Another video for another day. on this channel. But I think no matter how old you are, no matter who you are, there'll be something within Big Lizard for you. It's funny. It's educational, in a sense. Obviously, lizards exist, but we're not that type of lizard. Anyone that's into animation, whether it's British animation, American animation, or global animation, Big Lizard is for you. So, there is someone online, I can't remember the name, I do apologise. They talk a lot about Steven Universe and American animation. I think that person would love Big Lizard, right? I love Big Lizard. There's even a Big Lizard website. I mean, when I found that out, I thought, right, first of all, yeah. Second of all, when are we having the Bluey style cuddly toys and action lines and strange? There was a thing years ago on Strange Hill High, right? CBBC show video coming on that soon, and you had a massive school as sort of like a physical thing to do. I would love the inside of the spaceship with Dad and Cosmo and Big Lizard and Bandit Gill in it. In there, I would love that as a toy. There's so many merchandisable avenues for this show, so that fans like kids, fans like the adults, and fans like me could sort of reenact episodes of Big Lizard. I'm glad there's around about 52 in the first series. There's not been any confirmation for a second series, but they're winning awards. I was looking it up the other day, and they've actually, it's like the momentum for winning awards. Look at, I mean, we haven't yet had this year's BAFTA, TV BAFTAs. I hope, well, if the Children BAFTAs was still a thing as a separate entity, yes, they would have won a Children's BAFTA, but because we've got the main BAFTAs, right, TV BAFTAs in England, not to get it confused with BAFTAs Cymru and BAFTA Scotland and BAFTA Crafts Awards and BAFTA Games, I think it should win a BAFTA, but I do know the BAFTA category for children isn't as wide as it could be, so I hope that Big Lizard does come through and win at least a BAFTA or at least an Emmy. Because obviously we have international Emmys. Gotta win an Emmy, thank you. Send it to America. Because they'll love it. Right? It's uniquely British, but it's on a sense that it can transcend globally. It can be loved by anyone, everyone. I think it just gives positivity. It gives warmth. It gives heart. And right. So in this review, I've not really said what happens in a single episode, due to the fact that I don't really want to spoil it for anyone. The concept of an episode, without giving away too much, is it's all about discovery, right? So, as we know in the first episode, we meet Big Lizard, and as the series goes on, the dad goes on to these wild adventures in a scientific way. And then the droid robot, played by Bandit Gill, who was Yaz in Doctor Who, it's Starsonic Gas if I've ever seen one. She then gives this, like, oh, how do we solve this problem, or what is this object? And then Cosmo's got to sort of either solve the problem, or learn more about it and develop and try and save it, so learning about what Big Lizard was, and then Big Lizard became part of the family, like a family pet, if you will. So it's all about, it's what it does. It gives the values of the BBC. It's entertain, and it's two of the values. I can't remember what the third one is. I do apologise, but it's entertain and educate. I'm learning from watching this, but I'm also entertained. I'm not having it rammed down my throat going, learn, 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 learn. It's going, here's some gentle facts. We're not going to sprinkle it every 4 seconds. Every so often we'll give you a fact whilst you're enjoying this. You won't even know you're learning, right? Horrible histories. Funny, ha ha ha. Brilliant. But you learn at the same time. We use comedy to learn. With this, we use gentle space, lizardy creatures. I don't know what the race, the species of big lizard would come under. But then you learn gently about these facts, and it's warmth, it's heart, and it's worth watching. And it's available right now on the BBC iPlayer, and not today because I've looked, but every so often it'll air on either it'll air on the CBeebies channel. This has been my review of Big Lizard. I absolutely adore Big Lizard. I think it's brilliant, and I think for people like me and a lot of people of my generation and upwards and downwards would love the show regardless of who it's really aimed at, because it's universal, it's family oriented, and I think that it's not a kids show really, it's a family show, but it's aimed at kids, but I think it just covers the family really. So BBC One should air it, I think, a lot more, or just air it full stop. I think if we can get a Christmas special onto the BBC in the day, like last year, 2025, we had Bluey on Christmas Day. So I think we could have an episode of Big Lizard on BBC One on Christmas Day, like a feature-length episode. A Big Lizard film would work, I think. Or it might not, because that might be too expensive and take forever to do. But I think a sort of film, don't turn it live action. Only if you're going to put it on stage like the Bluey did, and Bluey did an excellent job of that. I would love to see that puppetry style for Big Lizard on the stage. Now, during this review, I have sort of compared it a lot to Bluey. And that is because if you think of Universal TV shows that are made for kids, but parents and adults alike love, you would say Bluey, right? Now, because of its universal appeal, I feel that a UK British equivalent is Big Lizard, right? And that's my personal opinion. So I think that Big Lizard encapsulates what Bluey does, but just for a British audience, right? And it's showcasing British animation, it showcases the British team, and I just think it really is glorious, lovely, and fantastic. And the company behind it, and having the people that work on it, and having just gorgeous. I don't know what else I can say more than that it's brilliant. And when I reviewed Sunlight on my other YouTube channel, Take Two, the Film Club, I could not say any more brilliant, fantastic, excellent words. I couldn't say any more to love it. And I feel like that's what's happened here. I love it so much, I just can't think of any other words to say that isn't positive. The negatives, as I mentioned, extend it to a minute or two, and I would have loved if you put lyrics in the theme tune. But the theme tune is really nice as it is. But if I had to improve the show, if anything needed improving, make it 2 minutes longer and add lyrics to the theme tune. Matt Berry is very good at singing lyrics and writing lyrics. Could he not do it? Don't know. But there we'll leave it. That's my review of Big Lizard. More reviews of children's TV are coming right here on the Children's Hour. Bye-bye.